All right, y'all. Hopefully that was enough time. All right, so this summer, today, we're kicking off a new series called Under the Sun, where we look at the wisdom literature of the Bible. And these books of the Bible are really asking one question: how do we live well in this world? And so if we're looking at the core wisdom literature, that would be the book of Job. Job really looks at suffering in the world, and is God just if suffering happens to good people? And then we look at Proverbs. It's one of the core books in the wisdom literature. And Proverbs, if you've ever read it, has a lot of good, I like to say nuggets of wisdom. Really good for contemplation. Short phrases that you could roll around in your mind over and over. And then we have Ecclesiastes. It's kind of about releasing control in our life. And so these are the books that we're going to be covering. We're also going to sprinkle a little bit of Psalms in there. I saw this morning that from last summer, a few people still have their card. You guys know it? Yeah. What does the card say? Anybody want to? I made the card, but what does it say? It's a permission slip, but on the back, I think it's a verse. And so I have some of those still in my office if anybody needs a permission slip this summer to just relax, chill. Jenna's looking at it. It's probably not. I'll get them out. So this is what we're looking at this summer. And so today we're in the book of Ecclesiastes, and I cannot cover the whole book, but I hope to bring out a really important theme in this book. And so for me, Ecclesiastes has been a rather challenging, complicated book of the Bible until the last, 5 to 7 years of my life. And that's because I'm such a purpose-driven person. I love meaning to things. If something doesn't have a meaning, it's hard for me to do it, y'all. I got to push through it. And here's the deal. If you've ever read Ecclesiastes, it says everything is meaningless about 40 times. That's a lot. And so we're going to get into that today and what that actually means. But when you're looking at this book, going into it, you have two voices in the book. One is the author. The author sets the stage for the book and opens. And the author also concludes this book. But the tone, I would say, of the author is very warm, very reflective, a very wise voice. And the author sets up the voice of the teacher, which we think is King Solomon, David's son. And if you know anything about King Solomon, he had it all in what we would say is all, maybe. When it comes to, he could buy anything he wanted, any kind of house, have back then the largest of farms, the best of food, as many wives as he wanted. He had the honor and status. And so it is he that we think is the teacher. And his tone that he takes is rather honest, but a bit critical and cynical. So we have to read this book carefully. And I will preface this, as we move through the summer and read these books together, or parts of these books, I want to encourage you to do it at home, by yourself. Because when we look at any one of the wisdom literatures, and we silo anything in the Bible, let me say this, in anything, we tend to miss the overarching picture of what Jesus is trying to get at. So we have to look at all of these books and contemplate them and be like, what are you really trying to say, God, here through all of these books? And so here, again, we set this up, and the teacher is talking, and the teacher points out three pretty disturbing things about the world. And one is this march of time. The generations will come and generations will go. You will be forgotten. Your life is like that, just a blink. It's kind of depressing if you think that after your death, several years later, a few decades maybe for some of us, no one will remember who we are. The second thing, and go with me, y'all, it's going to get better. The second thing, death. Death, the teacher says, awaits all of us. Whether you are righteous or wicked, we're all going to end up in the grave. And the third thing that the teacher highlights is life's random nature. And this is important because the teacher is kind of playing off of Proverbs, just so you guys know. Proverbs is all of these nuggets of wisdom, and if you do this, this happens. But the teacher comes in and said, nah, there's a glitch in the system. That's not actually true all the time. Because sometimes the strong, they don't win the race. And the most intelligent don't get this salary. Or the wise farmer doesn't always have food on their table because of famine. Like, sometimes we can do all the wise and right things, but there's chance. And there's a lot of plot twists in life. And it becomes more complex than 1 + 1 = 2. It doesn't add up that way. And the point that the teacher is getting at in this, we can't really control anything. And we know from other scriptures that it's wise to learn about wisdom, to try to obtain wisdom, to plan, but let the Lord work out the days and the steps and the seasons of our lives. But we can't really control anything. And through this book, the teacher is using this metaphor that everything is meaningless. But it's a poor translation because in the Hebrew, the word is hevel. And hevel means smoke or vapor. So the teacher isn't saying that life and all that you do holds no meaning or purpose. The teacher is saying life is kind of like smoke. It's beautiful and mysterious, and right when it's one way, it changes. It can change. And right when you think you can grab it, because, smoke's a little different from a cloud, but anybody ever been in a plane and it's like, you feel like you could just jump on those things, but you can't, truly. You can't grab a cloud. Smoke, you can't grab it. And so, he's getting at, the teacher is, hevel, is that life in times we're caught up in this thick smoke where it can be disorienting and confusing, and we can never make 100% the direction of where we're going. There will be uncertainties and questions, regardless of how diligent or how wise we are. There will be plot twists. And so, what do you do with that? And the teacher gets at two things in this book. And the author really comes in and does a great job at the ending, if you haven't read it. The teacher says, fear the Lord. And the teacher is pulling that from Proverbs. So even though the teacher is kind of throwing some shade at Proverbs and challenging Proverbs, the teacher is also saying, no, fear the Lord, because this is still wise. This is still the healthy, life-giving thing to do. And the second thing the teacher says, stop trying to control life. Learn to live with an open hand. Because the only thing you can truly control is your attitude, your internal world in the here and now, in the present moment in front of you. And so this is where our verses come in today. I'm going to read you guys a few to pull out this theme of how do we live in the present, and what is Ecclesiastes really trying to show us. So the first verse is Ecclesiastes 3:12 through 13. This is a pretty famous verse, a time for everything. Let me find it. So I conclude that there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor. for these are gifts from God. And then 5, verse 18 and 19. Even so, I have noticed one thing, at least, that is good. It's good for people to eat, drink, and enjoy their work under the sun during the short life God has given them, and to accept their lot in life. And it is a good thing to receive wealth from God and the good health to enjoy it. Then I'm going to flip over to Ecclesiastes 9, verse 7. So go ahead, eat your food with joy, and drink your wine with a happy heart, for God approves of this. Wear your fine clothes, even a splash of perfume or cologne. Just not at Hillside, because we are fragrance-free, folks. So this teacher, though, in multiple chapters of Ecclesiastes is saying, maybe it's wise to just let go and release and enjoy the work that you do with your hands, your everyday, to enjoy eating and drinking a meal with someone, to enjoy getting dressed up and going out. What if the teacher is saying for us to just soak up summer together, the here and now, because we can't truly predict the rest of life, but today we can be present. Because so many of us, myself included, my wife Emily knows this, like I am such a dreamer. I am such in the clouds sometimes, y'all, that I have to make sure I am present. Because the present is a gift. It is a gift when I put this away and I just look at people in the eyes. When I don't get lost on scrolling. Scrolling's not bad, but you know what? It's a gift when you're out at the beach in a pool, just to feel the sun on your skin. It feels so good after a long winter, y'all. It feels so good. A gift to me, y'all, is a really good glass of sweet tea that I only have now a few times a year, that to savor the moment in front of us. And that Ecclesiastes, this teacher, though critical but wise, is saying, what if? What if there is a gift in the good and the bad in life? What if Jesus can be found and the nature of God can be found in both? If we just are present and we search for those things. And so, my friend, this book asks us to pay attention, to receive the season that we're in, and to embrace the thing that's exactly in front of us. And so today we're going to practice this. What does it look like to be present just during communion without any music? What does it look like to be present right now? If your mind has wandered, that's totally fine. But if you can draw yourself back to the room, to be present with God, with yourself, with our community, to be present during this beautiful, sacred ritual that we do as followers of Christ. And so the night of Jesus' crucifixion, he was gathered around the table with his disciples and his friends. He was present. He knew what was coming for him, but he still had this ability to be with them truly and share a meal. And he said to them, "This bread, it's my body given for you. And when you take of it, you do this in remembrance of me." And then after, he picks up a cup and he says, "And now there's this cup. And it's the symbolism of my new covenant that's poured out for you. So every time you take it, remember my faithful love for you." And so, my friends, in a moment, I'm gonna have you come forward, but I want you to know that this table, communion, it's a gift for us. It is a gift where we just get to receive and we have to do nothing. Where we just get to be present and focus on a love that comes for us in all seasons. A love that when we stray or when we're hurt and look away, is still present. And so I want you guys to know too that this table at Hillside is open and welcome. We welcome everyone. If you're new here, Jesus welcomes us all in every season. And so I'm going to ask that you come up as you wish, and if you would take the bread and the cup and then go back to your seat, we are going to take together.